The Fermi paradox is the apparent contradiction between the high probability of the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations and the lack of evidence for it. It bears the name of physicist Enrico Fermi, who is renowned for memorably asking, "Where is everybody?" when discussing the likelihood of extraterrestrial life in the universe. Welcome back to my channel. In today's episode we will present 10 alien most probable contact scenarios if extraterrestrial life will ever be detected. The dilemma results from the fact that it appears that should be other intelligent civilizations out there, given the large number of stars in our galaxy and how old the universe is. But despite decades of looking, we haven't found any indications of their presence whatsoever. Evidence for alien life is yet to be discovered, but if we ever find answers to those questions or evidence of alien civilizations, it will be very difficult to keep them a secret since they might have a significant impact on human societies and how we view our role in the cosmos. However, such a finding would not be shocking. In fact, we've been looking for signs of extraterrestrial civilizations for decades. But if it does occur, how will first contact be? Science fiction has addressed this issue in countless blockbuster movies. Should first contact occur, it is for certain that will be very different from how it has typically been portrayed in science fiction. Let's dig deeper into the most probable 10 alien first contact scenarios. Number 1, they speak but we cannot understand. The message is undecipherable. One of the major problems is if humanity would ever be able to understand an unmistakable contact signal from an alien culture. This cannot be guaranteed and touches on linguistics and technology matters. Even if people speak many languages, they still have a number of tools at their disposal, such as hand gestures and activities to communicate. What despite the vast interstellar distances there is still absolutely no linguistic, biological, technical, or social connections. The principles and behavior of the cosmos itself have prompted scientists to consider that if we were to communicate with extraterrestrial civilizations through science, we would have many things in common. Any alien race, any civilization would not have reached any technological advancement without having a good knowledge of science. Well, they will be able to comprehend some kind of arithmetic, and therefore this may hold the key to at least basic communication. Even in a situation when we make first contact face to face, we might never be able to understand what they're saying. They would probably also find us to be unintelligible. However, I would not bet on that. A space-faring race will have that kind of technology, the means, the time and the will to decode an alien language. Number 2, we see them but they are long dead. Civilizations do not last forever. Eventually, everything ends. Diamonds are not forever, allusion to the fact that even a mighty K3 civilizations that are masters of entire galaxies or even clusters of galaxies have finite time. But sufficiently advanced civilizations on the path of maximizing their odds in the face of entropy will need to pass through K2 status. It's simple to imagine that as technology develops, extremely potent threats, like artificial intelligence, will emerge and ultimately if handled wrong it could wipe out the biological life. Perhaps in our universe, life as a biological being is short-lived, the civilizations advances. AI is invented, and then life as we know it will be only a distant memory. Could be that the norm is that artificial intelligences rule the game and is at war with one another. However, there are some aspects of our own civilization that are hit or miss in this regard. Could it be that the majority of civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy only have archaic rather than active contact? In much the same way that people in the present and the past creates time capsules to inform people from the future what the world was like, a number of space probes, like Pioneer and Voyager, have plaques intended to show anyone who might find them what humanity was like when the probes were launched. Could something of the magnitude of this occur? Given the immensity of our solar system, it is possible that the Milky Way contains artifacts and time capsules that provide an answer to the question of whether or not we are alone. If there are time capsules or artifacts here and they aren't large, we haven't discovered them yet and probably won't discover them. Number 3, we look for aliens but our technology is not good enough to detect them. We simply don't know what to look for, which is one explanation for why, despite the efforts of SETI, we have not yet discovered an alien civilization. There is no assurance that alien civilizations communicate with one another or make contact with other species using radio waves or laser emissions. If we could only travel back a few centuries, no one would have imagined that electromagnetic waves would be used in wireless communication, which would eventually overtake all other forms of communication. They were unable to comprehend it. It's possible that we're just not yet aware of the technologies that extraterrestrials might truly employ. If that's the case, there could be contact signals all around us that we do not yet recognize as such. But could be that in the future, we will realize that the means for the first contact had been staring us in the face the entire time. Number 4, silent aliens. Although people often assume that if we'll ever discover aliens, they would wish to communicate with us, but is actually no guarantee of this. Alien civilizations, on the other hand, might not conceal their existence and can be found through bio or technological signatures, but they might not be aware of our existence until we send a special radio signal to them. It's also possible that they aren't interested in talking to us because they think we are too distant or too primitive to have any real impact on them. We haven't observed any alien civilizations, which is one of the reasons why the idea of them fascinates us. We still don't know if we're alone, but what would happen if we did find them? As a result, we can find ourselves with absolutely no contact. Despite that we have not observed signs of an alien civilization, it seems unlikely that we will ever learn anything about this great silence, and even if the signal we might detect one day will be not understandable, the simple fact that it is of artificial origin will have a major impact on us. We might be able to determine specifics about their home solar system or perhaps their home planet. But until we physically reach their solar system, we would know very little about them as a species and a culture. However, this implies that we have the technology of recognizing alien intelligent life and is a great deal better than previous scenario in which we looked but there is nothing to see only because our technology is not advanced enough. It's like trying to see an atom with a toy microscope. The atom is there but you will never see it like this. Number 5, maybe the SETI program need an update. Maybe the radio waves are not the most efficient way to communicate for aliens. The key word here is efficiency. To send out radio signals, a human voice on the radio, you would need to put thousands of watts into the signal just to be heard outside of your own city. This would require enormous amounts of energy to accomplish at any real distance. This gave rise to the hypothesis that communicating with advanced civilizations may not even be done via radio. And in that case, we cannot claim to have hardly even glanced at the cosmos. It could be better to merely obstruct starlight in a way that isn't natural so that someone else can see it and understand that what they are seeing is impossible in nature and must be of artificial design. Unnaturally formed things, such as triangles or squares, might be erected by an alien civilization around their home star. These might be constructed from thin materials like mylar or simply thin aluminum foil, and they might even serve as communication devices as well. These kind of megastructures serve two purposes: a power collector and a signaling device, a beacon which works by blocking a good portion of the home star light that can be seen from light years away, so that any intelligent species that invented telescopes will be able to realize that they are looking at something big but artificial. Can we do it? Can humanity do this kind of megaproject because the surface need to meaningful block a good portion of the sun despite being staggeringly big? It's feasible with our current technology. It's a massive undertaking like the Chinese Great Wall, but doesn't require advanced technology other that we already have: the space flight and putting some solar panels in space. Installing solar panels in space is not rocket science. Well, in fact it is, but we have the technology. The mind-blowing fact is the scale of the project and the economics involved. Number 6, they are already watching us, but this doesn't imply they are here. Things like electricity and the developing technologies are relatively new to us, and the quest for extraterrestrial intelligence is even more recent. Because of this, it actually would have been exceedingly challenging for an alien culture to even know there was someone here to contact until the past 100 years. We only started to emit radio waves 100 years ago. Therefore, there is an expanding bubble of radio emissions originating from Earth. The chance may be that we are still not interesting enough for them to bother even consider us, although any technological civilization, in my opinion, by default must be curious in nature. This might result in a situation where they will make contact after we will achieve a certain degree of development, or are at least to do something noticeable to the aliens. In the end, this indicates that we are not much farther than 100 light years away. A technological signature from this world can now be easily detected by an alien race. They may be aware of our presence and have sent a message to contact us, but there hasn't been enough time for their signal to get to us. Actually, there might be a variety of such signals already traveling in our direction. For them, if they already detected our solar system and looked at our planet through their telescopes, the oxygen content of our planet may have alerted an alien civilization to the presence of a biosphere, combined with elements like the vegetative red edge, where plants become extremely luminous in infrared. Given that they may have had a head start to observe us evolve, if they have been observing for a very long period, they may be aware that our biosphere is quite old and may be likely to create a civilization at some point. That gives ample time for a contact probe to be sent and stationed inside of our solar system. Imagine that the aliens observing us from their own solar system located at 2,000 light years from Earth and decided to send a probe to do a flyby at near speed of light. At the time of sending their interstellar probe, on Earth the Roman Empire was in full expansion. If the probe will arrive in few years now, for example, it will report a planet-spanning civilization doing space flights and being on the verge of becoming Kardashev 1 civilization. This is also true for humanity. If we ever decide to visit other solar systems by sending a probe on a flyby mission to an inhabited system to assess for a possible colonization, and by the time the spacecraft arrives it will transmit back images with an alien race on the verge of starting interstellar expansion. Number 7. Life on Earth has artificial origins. Though it doesn't seem very feasible, it is unsettling to consider the possibility that each and every one of us has an intentionally hidden signal from an alien civilization within our own DNA. If the Earth has been visited by an alien civilization in the distant past, concept known also as ancient aliens, and if that civilization opted to communicate with any potential future intelligences that may have risen on the planet, encoding evidence of their visit into the DNA of all living things on Earth is one approach to accomplish this. This does not necessarily imply that they sought to direct or otherwise interfere with evolution. Instead, they might have merely wanted to introduce themselves by using our biology. It's debatable whether there is any proof of this. Although there have been assertions, the area of genetics does not generally accept them. However, the idea is at least tenable. Number 8. Aliens will arrive looking as humans. One of the biggest challenges in any first contact scenario is how to conduct meaningful communication, assuming that communication is even possible over such vast distances. Even a simple hello signal could take hundreds or even thousands of years to receive a reply. But if alien civilizations have created technologies that we believe to be realistic, there is another possibility. A society that has mastered its own genetics, biology, and technology to the point where it can send a probe to an inhabited exoplanet and examine it up close is one example of this. And once sufficient data has been obtained, it either prints a representative of the alien species seen, a variant, or even a specially designed entity that is most appropriate for the circumstances surrounding the initial contact. Or, if it's not really feasible, it may just create a machine that is capable of doing the job and speaking face to face. We yet need to see that, but in the meantime a plausible idea is that all the UFO phenomena can be actually alien drones. Number 9. They see us but they don't want to contact us. A detection would only include observing an extraterrestrial culture's activity as opposed to actually try to contact them. Hence one could argue that genuine contact with an alien society differs from a detection in this regard. However, there is a chance that there will be no communication at all, or at the very least a message that serves as a warning. This could happen in a variety of ways and for a variety of reasons. An exo-civilization may have already reasoned that making contact with anyone else could always entails a certain risk, or may just happen to observe a fight between two civilizations in space and draw the conclusion that they shouldn't make contact with either side to maintain neutrality. Other possibilities include stars with altered chemical compositions. You look at a star and the spectrum it gives is definitely not natural in origin. This implies that something or someone is messing around with that star, which would indicate that the civilization is already a K2, or close to that in the domain of power output, and it might be working to develop powerful weaponry. The so-called Nicol Dyson beam, perhaps in the shape of a Dyson sphere, or more accurate a Dyson swarm, which could focus a star energy output on a certain area of the galaxy and obliterate anything there. But if that would have happened in the Milky Way, we would have probably noticed it by now, or we would have been already dead. Now, that is the actual, realistic Death Star that we see in the Star Wars franchise. Number 10, faster than light travel. In most cases, two-way communication across enormous distances in the Milky Way takes too long to complete even at the speed of light. The space is big, mind-blowing big, and nobody has yet come up with a reliable solution to get around this issue. Faster than light significant information transport and communication under our understanding of physics is forbidden. At least for the time being, it appears that we may never be able to communicate more quickly than light. However, there might be a different technique to alter the speed at which we experience time. Future technologies might make it possible to modify this equation. Your civilization could appear to communicate quickly across the galaxy without breaking the laws of physics if it collectively interprets 100,000 years like a fraction of it. The change in subjective time is beyond us with our technology now, but for digital beings, this can be the norm. Maybe other civilizations will follow suit. The Fermi paradox may be resolved by altering how time is perceived in order to overcome the speed of light. This is because alien civilizations operate at such a slow rate of communication. Even though they could be present everywhere, we haven't been looking long enough, or smart enough to find any signs of them. There are hypothetical openings that could enable faster than light communication and transport, but they are all plagued by serious issues. Wormholes are allowed under general relativity, and researchers are building quantum computers to do just that. Entanglement build bridges, and even if we will never manage to transport any person through a wormhole, the scientists are on the verge to break the quantum gravity mysteries. Thank you. I will see you at the next episode when we will discuss other challenging concepts of our understanding of the universe.